Robert Murphy playing across the half-forward line for the Bulldogs.
Looking forward to a great contest tonight at Telstra Dome. Two young guns go at it in the middle. It's Hale for the Kangaroos and Minson for the Dogs. Harris has the ball pinned to his chest. Corey Jones feeds out the handball to Wells. Now to Ferrito, squeezes the kick out, goes inside, deep inside, the Kangaroos attacking 50, there's Big Sam, can't quite get there, and we'll have a throw in the forward pocket.
And Brian Harris lining up at fullback on Severio Rocker, and nice long kick by Ferrito, and that's the way that the Kangaroos will play. They'll get it in pretty quick to their big forwards, Thompson at centre half forward and Rocker at full forward.
Played some terrific matches here in recent seasons, these two. Cooney takes it away, characteristically cross, adding to his handball tally, gives to Power. And now Harris running off Rocker and dabbing to Smith as the Bulldogs can load up for the first time of the night. As Christie said, conditions very good. Wasn't so slippery here last night for Carlton Geelong, despite the fact that it was a pretty cool evening. Less cool tonight. Power placing it. Johnson now, what can he do here? Can he give the Bulldogs a start? He just might. Trying to do what he did in the dying moments of Monica last year. There'll be a ball up.
Putting in a couple of half soccer attempts and just couldn't make contact with it, Brad Johnson.
That's what happened at Monica last year, isn't it?
That's right, he did too. A couple of fresh areas. And the young fellas doing the ruck work. Will Minson and David Hale.
Down it goes. In there as Hargrave can't get boot to ball, and in the end the Kangaroos concede the behind. In fact, it wasn't Hargrave, it was young Walsh. Would have been a good start, but it's a point to the Western Bulldogs as the boys are sucking on icy poles.
Oh, not only is it not cold, it must be hot. I think they have an energy component that might help them later on.
Kangaroos have got the huddle going, Tim, and Wells has broken from it.
Stevens bangs it long in his direction. Now there is a match-up and a half. Taken in the top three, I think they were a couple of years ago. Here's Murphy now. And that's not a bad placement. Hahn trying to get into the action, not ever really able to. Make peace for the Kangaroos. Good placement for Hale. And back bravely with Grant bearing down, and we know he can hit pretty hard in that situation. Harvey working it forward, and the Kangaroos are a bit of a chance here. The 50's open. Big man, Thompson, Minson. Thompson winning it. Simpson. Make peace following up his kick. Gives it back to his skipper. The old campaigner Simpson has a look and placed it well. Grant there with the spoil. Power. Loose. Ferrito. Chance for the Roos. Big chance. The big man Hale kicks the first of the night.
It's hard to be critical. You see Will Minson tried to smother that kick from Simpson, and Will Minson worked hard to get back in the Bulldog defence to help Chris Grant out. Chris Grant got caught out. Because Minson pushed down so far, it just meant that Hale was free to come through the middle corridor. That's why he was unopposed. Have a look at this matchup. It is a beauty. Glenn Archer and Hahn, two strong players. That's a terrific matchup that Dean Laidley's got going there.
Mine! Pin to him! Stand up! Let it up!
Christy Malthouse, a report on the icy poles.
Stephen, obviously the Bulldogs players have decided they don't like the taste of the energy bars and the energy sachets, so they've gone for a sugar burst with an icy pole instead, and they do seem to be enjoying them.
Amazing. Down she goes in the middle again. Harvey. Over to Simpson. Round the corner to the wing. Getting there first will be West. For the Doggies. Ball still alive. There was a clever kick by Hargrave. Now over to Gilby. And the kick a little disappointing. Getting in there is Rawlings. Now Brown. Now was that deliberate? The umpire says throw it in. Oh, that was a 50-50, that one.
And Mitch Hahn saying, I reckon there could have been a free kick coming our way.
You got to allow that, I guess. There was a man there.
Yes, he was looking for Shannon Grant.
Handball did miss its target by a fair way, though.
If he missed by that much of training, he'd be doing laps.
Exactly.
He'd be doing a quick 400, Tim.
Harris. Good snaffle. Over to Ferrito. Awkward left foot kick. Hargrave attacks it again. Bottom of the pack was Morris. Inside the attacking 50 go the Bulldogs, but resolute is Lee Brown.
Hit the target that time. No problems out from the boundary line, which just might suggest something. And Harris delivers to Ferrito.
Lee Brown's 50th game for the Kangaroos, having come from the Dockers.
That's a poor kick. He was after Grant, but it just didn't have the carry. He underclubbed, and Hargrave in the way, and opens it up here for Eagleton. But that kick didn't have the carry either, and Jess Sinclair was able to steal it. It was en route to Johnson. Here's Rawlings. Kangaroo best and fairest last year, stepping out of his elder brother's shadow, and Jade at the moment battling for a place in the Bulldog outfit. Stevens making a mess of that kick. And the clash of the midfield Molly-Dookers, West and Simpson breaking even early. Here's Big Minson. The ground shaking as he runs forward and finds Johnson. Now the 50 is wide open. There was a man loose. He opted to go for Murphy on the lead. He had Smith loose. He's still loose and he's got it. And he'll line up from point-blank range.
Big Will Minson coming through that centre square. One, the Bulldogs had the confidence to handball to the big ruckman. That's always a good sign. And two, Will Minson steadied to be able to put the ball to advantage so Brad Johnson could mark it. Well done, big fella.
Did the earth move for you as he ran through the midfield, Rob?
He's a big man, isn't he? He'd be happy to do that, Tim, because it was his opponent, David Hale, who kicked that first goal for the Kangaroos.
Now Rowan Smith should kick this. Just, but there's a squeeze, they're in front. There's a look of confidence about the Dogs early.
Yeah, they move it on quickly. You can just see there, quick movement, play it on. Murphy could have gone back and settled himself down, saw a teammate in a better position and was willing to share it. Early in a game, it's important to get a touch of the ball, and the Bulldogs have brought each other into it. Well done. And there's Tim Walsh on debut for the Bulldogs, and really good to see Rodney Eade started him at centre-half forward, and he's playing on Lee Brown.
Rowan Smith scores his 4th goal of the season, and the Bulldogs lead by a point. Simpson got caught high. The ball come back to the skipper. To Archer. And that's a good kick. Just a little bit too much on it for Sainsbury, who with outstretched arms missed it. He butters up. That's in the back. No, yes it is.
On the bordering, please.
Giving it to Gilby.
And Lindsay Gilby, they get the ball to him as often as they can, the Bulldogs, because he's one of the better kicks in the team. And really starting to become an important player in this lineup.
Leading kick getter in the competition, number 1 in kicks and number 8 in disposals. As the Bulldogs work it forward, but only as far as Archer. To the wing. Simpson's free again. Jones puts Simpson under the hammer. Good pressure by the Dogs. In there is Petrie. Threw it out in the end. McMahon fed it out. Eagleton slipped at the crucial moment, but regained the footy and got out of trouble nicely. Dishes off to Cooney, who runs to 55, goes for home. Magnificent goal by the Dogs. What a kick from Adam Cooney. That is exciting football.
It is exciting football because they backed themselves from the half-back flank area. They got it away with a series of quick handballs, bringing each other into the game. And we see it there. It starts with McMahon. It gets across there to Hargrave. Hargrave, a quick one to Eagleton. Eagleton, very unselfish there to give it to Cooney. And good play by Cooney to back himself, run his 10 metres, and then go for home. And that is an absolute team lifter. Eagleton playing on the wing on Brent Harvey.
Well, Well, if you were making an early call, I reckon you'd want to be on the Bulldogs. They look sharp, they look confident, and the Kangaroos look everything but. Here go the Bulldogs again. Grant into cross. Outreached by Archer. Sinclair there to mop up. Now Makepeace is a left footer, so won't be uncomfortable there. Now Brown. Big strong man for the Kangaroos, playing centre half back. Now here's Hale at ground level. Kicked their opening goal on the run. Not going to try anything heroic here. Did well, wavered, delayed for Harvey, who's able to drop it under Grant's chest. And he is well within range.
He's kicked 13-7 this season, Tim. And certainly not beyond him here.
More than half of them in the last quarter of matches. He's been a bit of a hero in some of their fighting early wins. Notably against the Saints here. Round 2. That's not a bad kick off the boot. Just curling late. And it's a minor. So the Bulldogs lead by a straight kick.
And up the other end there you can see Brad Johnson playing from the goal square on the number 1 tagger in that Kangaroos team, Brady Rawlings.
And Gilby, he's kicked 12 goals this year, finds himself kicking in. Full back.
Bulldogs have opened up their forward line, and Johnson the only player in the forward 50.
Harris gets the hurry up. Long kick to a contest on the wing. Petrie gets the spoils to Jones. Lost the handle on it. Good tackle, Grant. Thompson. He can run on here. And Big Thompson runs to 48. It's across the face and it's a point.
Should have been a goal. No real pressure on him. And Will Minson, who started in the ruck, having a spell. And skipper on to ruck for the Bulldogs.
Harris lurking for the kick in from Gilby and then delivering to Hargrave. He got himself in a bit of a corner there. He goes for young Walsh. It stayed in play, so his first real act in the game comes unstuck. Harvey to Grant, who then laid the good block back to Harvey. Great setup by the Kangaroos, and the big Sam from this range could do it.
And little Brent Harvey has set up these couple of set shots at goal. Little chip pass to Shannon Grant, and this one to Severio. How many goals has he kicked quarters? I know he got 700 not long ago.
Yep, Big Sav has kicked 15 goals, 11 this season.
Over 700 career goals.
Got a duck egg last week, Rob.
He reached 700 a fortnight ago and didn't advance last week, so let's see if he can kick-start it again.
The test here, Tim, I reckon it's only accuracy because he is a monster of a kick.
Under it a little, and it just carries for a behind. Just didn't make the contact he was up.
He is a man mountain. That's a fair backside on him, Rob.
Yes, I think he's been fantastic for football, Collingwood and the Kangaroos over a long period of time.
Eagleton was clever in the end. McMahon, a great contest by Ferrito. Now it's the Dogs defenders under pressure. But they get out of it. As Powell finds Eagleton. Beautifully done by Smith. West, they're running it out, the Western Bulldogs, but the Roos stem the flow. Archer to half forward to Ferrito. Plays on. Good pass. Hansby.
Lindsay Gilby caught a few metres behind there. But already you've seen they're looking to put it the short passes to leading players in that forward 50, the Kangaroos.
Eddie Sainsbury's kicked 4 goals this season. 21-year-old. He'll be kicking from about 47 metres out. And we're missing some opportunities. Kangas. That's 1 goal, 4.
Well, they're giving themselves opportunities, but they might rue their wastefulness later on. Dogs by 3 points. Gilby leading kicker of the ball in the competition. There. Dabbing it in short to Morris, to Power. Now Hargrave. Dogs leading team in disposals for the comp. Most kicks, most hand passes, most disposals. They're having to fight for one here. Harvey has made it a contest. Sinclair, Colbert, ganged up on though, and the spillage to West, to Hargrave. Jen Syracusa, Hargrave again. Dogs build. No height in that front 50, but there is a bit of leap. Johnson almost snared it, giving Smith a chance. Kept it alive, a la Wayne Harms, for just a moment. But the ball was in. It was in by a mile back in 79.
So throw in the Dogs' forward pocket. Skipper to contest this one. Johnson also up. Clever kick. Across the face. Cut off by Jones. Who's under pressure, and they concede the behind.
Adam Simpson coming off, the skipper, and Lee Harding coming on. Harding going into the forward line. And again they huddle, the Kangaroos, and they get that fast break out to Daniel Wells. That's the second time they've gone for him.
That's a long ball. It beat everybody. It just kept on floating. Hargraves had a lot of it early for the Bulldogs. In fact, the leading disposal winner on the ground, but Colbert's got this. How will it sit? Thompson and Harding couldn't do any business. Throw in. Lee Harding, just playing his second game for the year for the Kangaroos, kicked over 30 goals a couple of years ago, but not so good last year and just struggling for form at the moment.
Yes, Robbins on and Walsh off for the Bulldogs. It just means that the Bulldogs forward line is very, very short.
Skipper slip, that allowed Thompson a free hit. Put it to Ferrito. Ineffective handball. Has another go at it. Gian Syracusa. Stolen by Harris. Cleverly into the pocket. Shannon Grant, he's got teammates everywhere. He goes on and does it himself. Well, I wouldn't think that would please Rodney too much. They had loose men everywhere, the Kangaroos. Where are the Bulldogs defenders?
That's right, and at that boundary throw-in, they should have been shoulder to shoulder. Shannon Grant started as a half forward, and in the last few minutes he's moved into the midfield, and his direct opponent is Scotty West. You see West just trailing there. So this is the boundary throw-in. Wild handball towards goal, and just not tight enough. The Bulldog midfielders, not the Bulldog defenders, the Bulldog midfielders let the team down there.
Kangaroos have won every set of break so far, and they win another. Harris, Sansbury, Grant, who kicked that goal to put them in front. That's a pretty good pass. And Rocker will be within comfortable range this time.
And Scott West got the message from the runner to come off, and I would think he'd get a reminder that you've got to be accountable when the ball's in a dangerous area for the Bulldogs. And this is just a perfect squared up kick. The big Severio coming from the goal square right down that middle corridor, and that's where you want to see your big forwards go.
He's one of only 18 men to reach 700 career goals. Matthew Lloyd getting there just before him. If he could kick another 39 this year, he goes past 6, including Stephen Kernahan out at 7:38, I think it is, and really puts himself in the elite. And there's one to his tally. Kangaroos stretch the lead.
Just the importance of a quick centre break. Sansbury, Shannon Grant on his favoured left boot, squares it up. Big Sav coming down the middle, and that was just a perfect pass. Nothing Brian Harris could do, and more importantly, the big fellow was able to convert.
Goal Ball 701 to Sav Rocker. And it is the Kangaroos out to an 8-point lead.
Mine is pinned in there.
Farito off for a break. Ruckman nullified there. Harris the quick kick. Shot by Harding, who runs down the corridor and from 45 kicks a point.
It's just what he's got to do. He's got to make the most of his opportunities. But he broke quickly, carried the footy, just missed.
It's been all the Kangaroos for the last 7 or 8 minutes. In fact, from about the time I made my early call.
I wasn't going to mention that.
A little bit of power. Now, Hargrave in some space. Boyd running for him. Hargrave again. Grant now running forward. Oh, he had it all. Passed it over the ribbon. He was very lucky. Didn't go off the line, the umpire said. He did everything but. Now McMahon. Didn't go for home. He set it up. It was a half-cock kick. And it landed on the chest of Makepeace. He couldn't have given it to him more comfortably. And that's a solid grab from Nathan Thompson.
Just got no height at all in their forward line, the Bulldogs at the moment. Colbert's an interesting position that he's playing. He's virtually playing on a half-forward flank. He's been moved to a half-forward flank to replace Petrie. Hargrave has been the opponent there. And Hargrave has had 9 disposals. That's why Petrie would be off. And Colbert sent to the forward line to close him down.
This is Harris's 6th touch as he finds Hale. It's quite an impressive young ruckman. Not 15, so Colbert's got to play on. Sweeps the handball into the corridor to Stevens, who just bangs it long. Stansbury's behind, works his way to the front, but the better judgment is Lindsay Gilby. And he takes the mark and wastes no time. Short for Gian Siracusa to half back. And he finds Skipper.
1 minute, Jess, come!
Out wide.
Great skills for a big man, Wade Skipper.
Lovely left foot kick, wasn't it? Now Cooney running onto Hargrave's hand pass. And Hahn with the man on the mark just outside 50.
Just about here, I reckon, Tim.
Maybe he's hesitant, but he's now getting serious about it.
Yeah, I think he should go back and have a shot. Settle himself down.
Settle his team down if he can kick it too. Short approach. Long kick. But well taken by Glenn Archer. And the Kangaroos well in control of the last 10 minutes. Now Sinclair. And Hale trying to get to the drop, but can't. Here's Syracuse.
Boomer, 2 minutes, Boomer! 2! Thank you!
Long kick, it's a good lead and it's a good pass too. Ian Syracuse finds Murphy. He'll be kicking from about 51 metres out. Will he have a ping?
Well, he should have a ping, but the Bulldogs have to get someone back there on the goal line who can contest a mark. That last kick of Hahn, Glenn Archer just had it all by himself, so they've got to think their way through these situations. It's okay to have a shot, but if it drops short, they've got to give a contest on that goal line. Mitch Hahn's got back there. He's probably the biggest Bulldog.
7 goals for this year so far, but Murphy starts it right. It's coming back, but not enough.
So the margin is 8 points. Daniel Wells has just come off, and Jess Smith on for his first run. He'll be feeling the butterflies at the moment. Stevens has been good. Brother of Anthony and Jess Smith honoured with Anthony Stevens, number 10. Throw in Kangaroo side of the wing. Into the last 3 minutes of the opening term. Ryan Hargrave, biggest leather winner of the game so far. Simpson doing well on West in midfield. Skipper a clean hand onto the footy. No immediate result. Now there is. Eagleton. And this looks good for the Bulldogs. What was he doing there? See, they're finessing. It'll be driving Tommy Hafey mad. Tommy, good evening if you're watching. Here's Smith getting his first kick. Not the result he wanted. And his namesake Rowan has the footy.
That's about the third time Eagleton slipped. I'm not sure whether he's wearing the right boots.
Goes.
Smith. That's a good mark to Sinclair.
That is a terrific mark. There was no doubt that Smith was trying to put it in the path of Brad Johnson, but it was a pretty ordinary kick, and Johnson let him know.
Harvey looks for Makepeace. Good mark. Not much Grant could do there. Running back with the flight of the ball. Makepeace finds Sansbury. It's dropped it. It's the second overhead mark he's scored tonight.
And there's Daniel Wells and Daniel Harris both having a chat. Both started on the ground. And Robert Murphy, who pushed himself into the back line just to shore things up in the last couple of minutes. But Daniel Wells has only had a couple of disposals in this first quarter. Expect more to come.
Latter part of opening quarters hasn't been a strong area for the Bulldogs. Here's Jones trying to get it to Sansbury. That was a good little hand in there from Gilby. Saved the day, and the Bulldogs come out of it with a free kick.
That was clever by Hargrave, wasn't it? Put his body over the ball.
Power to Gilby.
He knew he'd get the free, didn't he, if he got in early.
Jordan McMahon got some toe. And that's a good kick. Murphy now. Bulldogs looking for a late goal, just to pretty much square the ledger, and Daniel Giansiracusa would have to land it from outside 50.
And this last bit of play would please the Bulldog supporters. Jordan McMahon, a youngster who's been settled in the back pocket, bursting out of that back line and getting that ball into the midfield. And the pass going to Giansiracusa, another young Bulldog. And the plum jobs, look at this. He's given it off to the kicking man, Gilby,
who has beaten the pack, and the Dogs are back within 2 points.
That's a set play. Gilby's the best kick in the team. But I like this play. Jordan McMahon ran and carried, got the bullet-like pass into Murphy. And Murphy, another nice pass out in front of Giansiracusa. And then they waited till the best kick in the team came from behind. Hand off, long kick, perfect result.
Well, Lindsay Gilby has kicked more goals from outside 50 than any other man in the competition this season. That was number 7 so far. And the Bulldogs will be pretty happy with this scoreline at the moment.
Let him up, Colby. Get him high. Let him up. Let him up, Colby.
Kangaroos probably had the better of the term, but haven't been able to make it count on the scoreboard. It's a 2-point game.
Gee, the Kangaroos have got a massive flood on here. Got all of their players heading towards that back 50.
Johnson provides the lead. Rawlings hot on his heels, and he's happy to see it over the line. 50 out from the Dogs' goal.
Interesting with Brady Rawlings, I've been watching him closely. All he does, he takes his eyes off the football and just watches Brad Johnson. Every time Johnson goes to lead, he's in his face, he blocks his path. He's just prepared to sacrifice his own game completely to cut Johnson out.
Time for a score at either end if something happens quickly. Colbert working it out, but not all the way out. Still time for the Bulldogs, as Brett Allen calls time off within a kick of goal. Brett Allen, Matthew Head and Scott Jeffrey in charge.
And we'll just have a look at Rawlings and Johnson. You can see Rawlings has got touch on him.
Skipper climbing high, doing it well. Johnson, 2 goes, 2 bites at the cherry, but straight to Jones.
Pressured.
And the Kangaroos will hold firm now. So, something of a lacklustre opening term in a game that has promised a lot in competitive terms. And at the end of it, the Kangaroos lead by 2 points, Rob.
I enjoyed it. I reckon it was a pretty good start. And you can see what the Bulldogs are trying to do. Run and flow and share and handball. And you can see what the Kangaroos are trying to do. Get the numbers back. Fill up the spaces. Don't give them any room to lead into. And when the Kangas get it, get that little chip pass to leading players in the forward line.
My God. Can't catch every game? Then watch The Winners.
We'll recap everything you need to know about every game.
Every Sunday night from 7:30. Get all the highlights, stats and post-match reaction from every game with this week's host, Clinton Drivers.
It's footy's ultimate wrap every Sunday.
The Winners, Sunday at 7:30 local on Fox Footy Channel.
Hi, Ronnie.
All good, mate.
Go Harvey Norman for digital photo printing at a low 33 cents for 6x4 photos. Capture those magical moments on your digital camera. Go to your nearest Harvey Norman store, place your digital media card in our easy-to-use digital processing centre, follow the simple instructions. Great quality 6x4 prints for just 33 cents per print. That's right, just 33 cents. Harvey Norman, your digital camera and processing specialist.
Go, Harvey, Norman, go!
He kept it alive. He looked down. Unbelievable!
We're here in Melbourne to relive a classic footy moment that has it all.
Who else could give us all this?
Who else but the maestro? Hey, James Hill.
Hey, guys.
All right, so it's Essendon 131, West Coast 131. 30 minutes and 48 seconds gone. In the fourth quarter.
But it's on.
He's got it. Hey,
Maybe
the
umpire.
Not the umpire, bully. Bully hits it at the head. Wait, the fairy tale's complete. James Hard, you are a champion. Yes. Give it a hug.
He's coming back. Not too many men will go 57 rounds with the catalogue man. He's a match. He sure tests a man's ability to stay true. Dougie McKenna could end this right now. All he has to do is take a sip of that average bourbon. Ever seen anything quite like this?
Wednesday, in another exclusive Fox Footy feature, Wayne Schwass discovers that the 2004 AFLPA Indigenous Camp encompassed much more than football.
An eye-opener for some of the players.
40 of the AFL's Indigenous stars embark on a journey of discovery where they're exposed to the rich culture of local communities and made aware of social responsibilities.
On some communities, it's a matter of life and death.
A special community-round Fox Footy feature, the 2004 Indigenous Players Camp, Wednesday on Fox Footy Channel.
2-point margin at quarter time to the Kangaroos. 3-5 plays 3-3. Simpson 8 touches. Harvey and Corey Jones 7 each for the Roos. Hargrave 11 in that first term for the Bulldogs. Power 8 and Gilby 7. Big night for the two coaches. Dean Laidley rushed straight out onto the ground, straight to the troops. Who got the honours that first quarter, Rob?
Well, I think that the Kangaroos, they are in front on the scoreboard only by a couple of points, but they got the all-important clearances, and a couple of their centre clearances were so precise and set up goal-kicking opportunities. So I just think at this stage, the Kangaroos just have their nose in front.
9-4 of the clearances in favour of the Roos, and their centre clearances, they're leading 4-1. So it's a reasonable margin at quarter time.
Yes, and that was the old stages. There was Brent Harvey, Adam Simpson, Shannon Grant, and we see here, this should have been a goal. Lee Harding just missed. He'd only been on the ground a couple of minutes. And Bomber Thompson, it's all a big yawn to him. Winners
Things aren't going that well, are they?
Weekends are very relaxing when you win on Friday night.
Yeah, the Cats have got the Kangaroos at Skills Stadium next Sunday afternoon. Christy Malthouse.
Thank you, Stephen. Well, there we see one of the Bulldogs trainers carrying a few pairs of boots. Obviously, a few of the players from both the teams had to change their boots, slipping over and costing them in the first quarter. The ground is really quite slippery, actually, so they have had to put the long stops on. No injuries to report. Rodney not unhappy with the Bulldogs, but he was very, very animated when he had to talk to them. He said to kick the ball longer and to just run hard at the ball. They've got the speed, they've got the run to get there.
Interesting first clash between Eade and Laidley as coaches. Eade applied for the Kangaroos job that was given to the rookie Laidley, and despite his pedigree, grand final coach Rodney Eade was overlooked.
Yes, It was an interesting situation there, Tim, and as it turned out, Rodney Eade, I thought he'd only be 6 months out of AFL coaching when he gave the Swans away mid-season 2002, ended up being 30 months, 2.5 years, and that's why I've got no doubt he cherishes the job that he's got now. He rolled his sleeves up, he couldn't wait to get back into work. And big Will Minson, who rucked the first part of the first quarter and did it pretty well, up against David Hale, and he's a likely type. So a couple of young, inexperienced ruckmen being given that major job, the first ruck spot.
So the Kangaroos take a 2-point lead into the second term. Brett Allen, not one of the great bouncers in the game, wasn't happy with that by the sounds of it. Bulldog takeaway, Cooney to cross, slow to get rid of it. That was a good tackle by Big Hale. What good work by the ruckman. Eagleton prizing it out. Cooney, Smith overran it for the Dogs. Archer, like a tiger. Wells hasn't had an impact yet. Archer goes back with a big second effort. Gives it to Simpson on his wrong side, so he gives it back to the Lionheart. Harvey weighted down and nearly marked it. Good pressure by the Bulldogs. Morris to McMahon. Cooney with his running's been good, and he beats off Wells. Kick not great. Still a chance. Johnson. All been done under pressure for Johnson so far tonight. And the Bulldog attack well contained here. Rawlings clears it. Makepeace on the end of it.
Nice switch by Rawlings to Makepeace. He goes back almost inside the square to Hale now. Gee, running on to Sainsbury. If Hale can get it to him, he does so now. Sainsbury, short. Finds Thompson. Nicely done by the Roos.
Glenn Archer magnificent under pressure in that Kangaroos back line. A couple of hard contests there where there were repeat efforts from players at both sides, and Archer triumphed on both occasions.
Now, just in the first quarter, guys, we're not sure as yet, as we see the Sainsbury pass to Thompson. There might have been a report. We'll have a look at the incident in a sec. Thompson comes in from only 40 out. It's a good-looking kick. It's home.
Just like the way that David Hale moved that ball on quickly and was able to get to Sainsbury, who in turn had time to pick out a player on the lead.
First quarter incident, Hargrave, Shannon Grant, and we believe there may have been a report laid. We'll get Christy Malthouse to chase that in this quarter or at half time, but could have been a number taken by the umpires.
Mixed quarter for Hargrave, 11 possessions, but perhaps name and number into the book. Another takeaway by the Roos. Hale's been very good, helps Harvey out here in a double play and a perfect delivery. Sets up Rocket. Now, he's not going for home because he's got a man loose, and that man is Grant. And he knows how to kick a goal.
That's the 6th Kangaroo mark in the forward 50 area. And again, David Hale, the big ruckman, featured in that forward attack. Unselfish play by Sav. He was easily within goal-kicking distance, and it's a great sign to do that, to share the football, bring a teammate into it. Everyone feels good about it. Shannon Graham's going to feel good after he kicks this goal. Sav feels good because he said he's made up.
Shannon Grant puts the Kangaroos 14 points in front.
Cooney had to go better at that ground ball. He just let it get away from him too easily. And his opponent, Harvey, made him pay the price. And there's a shot of Adam Cooney, who's going to be a very, very good player He's bigger than the average midfielder, but when the ball's below his knees, he's just got to be a little bit more urgent.
Excellent start to the second quarter by the Kangaroos. Could even be better as Thompson got the handball to Grant, but he's bowled over by his namesake. Sainsbury wins it back for the Roos to Jones, to Petrie, lurking dangerously as Harvey improves the angle and kicks another one. Roos have got the three, the opening three of the second term, and all of a sudden the margin is out to 20.
Well, they've got 3 in 4.5 minutes.
He hasn't kicked a lot of goals so far this year. The Kangaroos would like him to be making regular contributions, but he is dangerous when given half a chance around the sticks. It looks dangerous right now for the Bulldogs. And Rockety knows it and was looking a little exasperated a while ago. Big swing from Minson, no result. They're being killed in there. A chance here, eventually Cross getting it onto his boot for Cooney, and West on his wrong side. Clever kick, but Archer just
magnificent. Eyes on the footy, go back, take whatever hits are going to come his way.
Clearing kick from Stevens, it's a long one to the wing. The spoil from Chris Grant. Here's the Archer mark. How many times have we seen that over the last decade? Shin boner of the century. Minson and Hale. Here's Cross. Good hands to McMahon. Wasn't the best option, but fortunately it's come off. Now Rowan Smith. Running forward as West. Pops one over the top. Here's a chance now for Hahn. Back to West. Looks for and finds Eagleton. They had to work hard for it, but Eagleton's got a shot at goal.
It's an interesting situation with Eagleton and Brent Harvey. Brent Harvey is starting in at the centre bounces. Eagleton starting out on the wing outside the square. So Eagleton can't go with him immediately after the centre bounce, so Harvey's just got away from him a little bit, but Harvey and Eagleton are direct opponents, even though Eagleton isn't going in at the centre bounces. And that's why Harvey was able to slip away and score that last Kangaroos goal. Eagleton will be pretty happy if he can square the ledger here.
And it's right through the middle. So Eagleton steadies the Bulldogs ship with his 8th goal for the season, and the margin back to 14 points. Wasn't the prettiest passage of play, but it'll do.
It's Rodney Eads coached really well. It was Harvey and Dean Laidley, the Kangas coach, who had the ascendancy, and he's immediately shifted Eagleton from the wing now into the forward line for the Bulldogs.
Hale getting in the midst of it again, but this time turning it over. Cooney. 1 go and 2 now. Hahn. Archer, though, is more than a match. Cooney again, been terrific. So's Hale, and Hale wins the free kick. Looked pretty hard on Cooney, who was desperately making the play. Tough call. Hale has Harvey loose and waits his kick well.
Let him go! Right there!
Yeah, the Bulldogs have really got to tighten up.
Me.
Here's Thompson. Quick for Chris Grant. Distance, you would think, slightly beyond him here. He's looking for a pass, and Sainsbury's the man. Crowded inside the 50. Play on the call now. So Sainsbury goes back to Thompson. That was barely 15.
That wasn't even 10.
It was barely 10.
It wasn't 10.
Now Thompson to Rocker.
Mark number 7 inside their forward field, and it's obvious what they're doing, and the Bulldogs have to be smarter than what they are, because they are just patient, the Kangaroos, and waiting and making space, and then they will pass it to somebody inside that forward 50 area, and Big Sab's often the target.
Brian Harris second in the competition spoils tally so far this year, but Rocker's been leading and he hasn't looked like making a spoil on any of those.
Just Cooney again, Tim, that last passage of play, just below the knees. He's got to be cleaner, got to take it first go. He's having a real crack at it, no doubt about that. It's an area he's got to improve at.
Rocker kicks his second and the Kangaroos again lead by 20.
All just a bit too easy, wasn't it, in the end for Rocker?
Moved Brad Johnson up onto the wing, and he's told him to go with Daniel Wells. Rawlings, you can see left of screen, he's not sure what to do. Does he stick with Brad Johnson to make it a 2-on-1? That means the Bulldogs will have a free player.
Margin back out to 20. Simpson works it forward for the Roos. Push out. It's going to Morris for the Dogs. Goes long. Simpson from the side. Almost a good mark to cross. Now Gian Syracuse. Back to cross. Puts the Dogs inside 50. Eagleton couldn't mark. Front and centre was Hale. Great handball to Archer, who just busts his way through the pack again. Did it beautifully to Wells. He's got some room to move. Wells goes sideways. Clever kick. An awesome kick into the corridor to Shannon Grant. Almost a no-looker.
Yeah. Brilliant bit of football. Glenn Archer again, solid as a rock in that back line. Just won the ball, wanted it more than anybody else. Set up Wells out on the wing. And that was a 50-metre look-away kick.
It was amazing.
He knew that Shannon Grant was there, but he didn't look up. He just had the instinct and smarts to be able to spot him.
Grant's got two, but he decides to unload the handball to Stevens, who from a long way out kicks it into the goal square. That's a rush behind.
Michael Stevens, the go-to man for the long kick. Here's Archer at the other end, and he has been terrific. 11 possessions, or 10 possessions so far.
And that Michael Stevens, Tim, the go-to man, has kicked 9 goals, no behind, so he's accurate.
Gilby, who is the equivalent player for the Bulldogs, set up in defence, but runs forward as he showed in the first quarter. Now this is Gian Syracuse to Eagleton. Bulldogs just not really able to get anything going. And with that small forward line, they've been suffocated when they've brought the ball in.
Cooney playing at full forward at the moment.
Boyd for Eagleton, big ask. Good contest.
I just want to say something about Nathan Eagleton. He has really turned his career around. When he first came across from Port Adelaide to the Bulldogs, he was disappointing, didn't go hard enough. He's absolutely committed himself to being the best he can be over the last couple of seasons, and he's made a name for himself. You can see Cooney on big Lee Brown. There's not a great deal of difference in height, and that is a midfielder playing on a big key defender.
Minson wrestles with Hale, who leant over the top and got the tap. Bottom of the pack is Harding.
Thanks, guys.
Ross Smith, the face in the crowd there. He's on the Hawthorn coaching panel these days. Of course, are great with the Kangaroos, 224 games, and a nervous night for him with his wife Leanne looking on with the lad Jess out there in this second quarter.
Hale again to Ferrito. weight. He's had plenty of it. Good handball to Smith. Now West. Well done by Sinclair. Forces the turnover. There's Jess Smith. And he kicks it to Sinclair, who is just about within range. He'll be lining up from about 51 out. He wants to pass off. Still looking to pass, and he does now, out in front of Sansbury, who waits for it to bounce. Twists, turns, then slips. Still has time. He goes back to Sinclair again, over his head. They're mucking it up here, the Roos. Better be careful. Archer's there. And he hits the target and finds Farito.
Very rare they kick it long to a contest, the Kangaroos.
Rocker leads. Yes, he's got it.
That is mark number 7 inside the forward 50 in this one quarter alone. And in the same quarter, the Bulldogs have taken 1 mark in their forward 50. So the plan's obvious, and they've just got to be awake to it, the Bulldogs.
So Sav Rocker has kicked 2. He's about 35 out. Angles tight, but not insurmountable. Got the top on Rob.
Yes, Severio, Matthew Lloyd, Brendan Favola take far too long.
In he comes. It's a good-looking kick. Just misses to the right. So 2-2 to Sav. And a few worries for Rodney Eade. It's not getting any sort of flow, the Dogs, at the moment. 49 plays 27.
Very disciplined, the Kangaroos, just closing them down. And they're winning the clearances and they're winning the contested ball.
Dogs the 5th highest scoring team in the comp thus far this season. 9th on the ladder. But tonight, as Rob said, closed right down. Eagled into Grant. Got rid of Michael Stevens, who thumped the ground in disappointment at his tackle. Cross came with the flight. Mo got in Murphy's way. Johnson sitting it up. What a great delivery that was.
Well, it's a win-win because Johnson, who was struggling at full forward, Brady Rawlings doing a terrific job on him, moved out to the wing. And Cooney, who has been playing in the midfield, put to full forward, playing on Lee Brown. You can see there, he knows how to time a lead, get out in front, take it in his hands. Good passage of play.
They need this. He's kicked 9 for the season. He's slotted a few, and he shouldn't miss. The man on the mark is only 25 out. He's plumb in front. And he nails it. It's back to 16 points.
Play in the centre square by Chris Grant, who shrugged off a tackler.
Gutsy effort by Cross, although he messed it up really for Murphy, who was in good posse.
But that is a wonderful pass.
Scott West has another break. 2 goals to Cooney. 16 points of difference in favour of the Roos. Bounce favours Petrie. Syracuse has slashed it out. Sinclair to Simpson. Hurried kick to the wing. Thompson did well under pressure. Got it back to Sinclair. He squares it up to Rawlings. Here's a chance for the Roos. Touched just by Smith. Play on, says the umpire. Wasn't a mark anyway. Harris. And he goes to Murphy. Johnson in support. He stepped over the line, said the boundary umpire, so we'll have a throw in. Johnson's not sure about it.
Well, Brad Johnson is playing on Daniel Wells. Daniel Wells, you see he's taking Johnson. Daniel Wells is playing pretty much from the goal square. And I reckon Dean Laidley has said to Wells, you go right back to the goals, give yourself a bit of a spell, and we'll take one of their best players completely away from the action. Although the theory's not working at the moment.
Terrific smother by Petrie on Johnson's kick, and it gives the Kangaroos a chance. Stevens, pretty good ball. Grant, though, sweet fist. Perfect contact. So it's a behind, and the Kangaroos lead by 17.
Adam Simpson coming off, and Lee Colbert coming on.
Mark taken by Sam Power. Here's a go for the Bulldogs. They've got a bit of room to move here. Quick transition. Eagleton gets it over to Boyd. Boyd runs himself into trouble. Will he muck that one up? Harris goes at it hard. Petrie slipped over again. Tapped it straight to Cooney. Cooney's handball missed the target, but there's dogs everywhere. One of them is Roberts to Jim Syracuse. Unloads the kick just in time and nails the goal. It's a funny old game, Robert.
Well, they persevered, the Bulldogs. They persevered. This is a terrible mistake by Boyd. If you have time to run and have two bounces and then muck up your disposal, that is unforgivable in footy. He'll learn from that. Rodney Needle telling him, well, one bounce, lift your eyes and make sure you dispose of it properly. But they continued with their share of the ball. And eventually it freed up to Gian Syracuse, who's a wonderful finisher. And he was able to put it through. So full marks to their persistence with the Bulldogs.
Laidley has a bit to worry about now as the Dogs edge back. Margin 11. Good bounce from Matthew Head. Rawlings for the Kangaroos. Front posse, Thompson. Chris Grant. Wilby needs to get rid of it. Does, and did it well. Perfectly with the left foot. That's better from Boyd to Murphy. And this looks good again for the Dogs. Don't know whether the hand pass was wise, but the tackle is high, and Smith could have a set shot.
Some of the handballs are a bit shaky and risky, Tim, no doubt about that, but you can tell what they're trying to do. Let's just run and carry and share. I don't know if there's too much. You'll get the Academy Award, Rowan Smith.
Delayed reaction.
It was one of the worst pieces of acting you've ever seen on a football field. But anyway, he's got a free kick.
It's an important one. He's a good kick. Well, but he's hooked it.
Maybe there's a bit of justice.
I think most people will say that's a fair result.
Here we go, the delayed reaction. Oh.
Gee, there's not many players around this kick in. You can see the little huddle. And Smith has come from half forward.
Taking a really good mark too. Looks for Petrie. Couldn't get there in time. Hargrave did well. Skipper. Back to Hargrave. Tumbles one inside 50. There's a couple of dogs. So of course it is.
Umpire in perfect position.
A free kick to the Roos. Makepeace runs up the corridor. Good kick. He finds Colbert.
I reckon Lee Colbert would love playing across the half-forward line for once in his life.
Stevens with that lovely long kick of his, but Harris this time out points rocker. Did it well. And the Bulldogs just looking a little more composed now. Oh, Hale makes Ryan Hargrave pay, and the Bulldog fans don't like it.
Gee, it's sat up there for a long time, didn't it, that ball?
It was a terrible one to sit under. That's what you call a hospital kick.
It's about 10 minutes.
He stood his ground, though. He's having a terrific game, is Ryan Hargrave. Disposal number 15.
Skipper, Smith, McMahon. Not much to go to there. Thompson and Grant in the back half of the ground for the Kangaroos. Grant in familiar territory up forward. Now, he's not doing anything to get that out, although I don't know whether umpire Head could actually see what we could see.
And there's Hargrave waiting. And waiting. Bulldogs have moved Brad Johnson to full forward.
Sinclair. Quick kick. It's effective. To the Docklands wing. Colbert. To Thompson. Oh, he's run down. on his backside, still managed to get the handball away to Colbert, who looks for another big fella in Rocker. He soccers off the ground, and it's a free kick to the Dogs.
And it was marked, believe it or not, by Rowan Connolly, who writes for The Age.
And who couldn't resist showing it to the press box, or the radio box.
He waved it to the crowd.
It's his first stat of the season, I think.
It was an uncontested possession too.
Well, that's a shank from McMahon. Stays in play. And he went about 30 metres to kick too.
There's Brad Johnson, who's been moved back into the forward line. Every time he went to somebody in the Kangaroos forward line, when he went into the back line, they just kept on dragging him out of the action. Rodney East decided, well, he's too important to be not in the thick of it, so let's put him back into the forward line.
There's a jumper hold, a Kangaroo free kick to Hale, who's been very influential in the last 5 minutes of the opening half. Harvey making heavy weather of that, but in the end able to get it off to Jones, who hasn't had a lot of the footy thus far. He has a lovely left foot kick, and he sits that up for Wells, but it hasn't been his night either, as yet at least. McMahon off to Gilby. Eagleton. Bulldogs stringing it together better now. Not so good. That has just been superb.
Dangerous kick coming out of the Bulldogs half-back line to put it in the middle corridor to a contest situation. That is poor football by Hargrave.
Rocker lets it go from a long way. It is a mighty roost. A sausage roll for the Big Sam. His third. Stuck through the heart of the Rocker.
Well, a wonderful kick by Severio, and he didn't take too long thinking about that one, did he? He just decided, I'll go back and I'll run in and I'll kick it as long as I can, and he made sweet contact, but gee, Ryan Hargrave put that ball in a very, very risky situation when he came off the half-back line, and it cost his team a goal.
Roos by 16. West. He misses the target. Walsh is there. Was that intentional from Brown? He's got away with another one. First gamer.
And this is Hargrave just a minute earlier. You can see back flank position. Should have kept it near the boundary line, and to put it into that central corridor towards Glenn Archer, well, you're going to pay the ultimate, which he did.
And young Cameron White has also won for a run in his first game. Contested that ruck knockout. The Kangaroos win the ball. Yes! Harding puts it inside 50. Dogs have got the numbers at the fall of the ball. One of them is Gilby. Over to Power. Now Boyd. Long kick. Leads provided by Eagleton. Archer's there to pick him off.
And Kangaroo supporters just get on their feet to applaud their hero. He's had 8 disposals in this second quarter, and the ball just doesn't get behind him.
That's White again against Hale. Hale comfortably. Clever tap to Simpson. To Harvey. Beautifully worked by the Roos. Harvey, the little give and go to Harding, but Harding's going to go himself. He has a couple of bounces. Now drills it long. His target is Sansbury, who flies for the line and takes a miraculous one-hander. I think it was a one-hander.
Lovely long kick to a 2-on-2. All of them medium-sized players. And you can just see Lindsay Gilby didn't jump and punch. Lindsay Gilby, that's his opponent. He's the last man there, Gilby, and he decides not to give a contest. He had to come over the top and get a fist on that.
And it was a one-hander, and he finishes off his work with a point. That's a disappointing result. Great mark, poor kick, and he knows it.
So 17 points the difference. Just over 2 minutes left. And the Bulldogs could do with one before half-time. Smith, Boyd. Cross. A rare kick. West with the sit here on Simpson. Now he's spoiled Simpson. Completed what he claimed was a mark, not paid. Chris Grant, exasperated. Glenn Archer just having a great night.
And he's worked his way through 4 different opponents. Hahn, Robbins, Cooney, and now he's on Eagleton.
Simply tackled hard by young White.
Careful, Tim. Go and go back, 40. Come round, Adam. Thank you. That's it, 40.
Jess Sinclair coming in for his 11th touch. He's averaging 21 this season.
Come on. 1 metre.
Playing a real sweeping role. Didn't have a great week last week, but doing the job tonight. Petrie.
Run. Let me get back. 2 metres, run. Thank you.
Repeatedly kick it out to leading players, the Kangaroos, and they've done it very well.
Sinclair, the big wind-up here, changes his mind. Now he's run himself into trouble. Back to Petrie, who kicks from a standing start. It's inside 50. Back of the pack is Gilby. He has support. Now here's the switch as the Bulldogs go out wide.
White's first disposal.
But it's a good one to Smith. They've got a couple of loose players here, the Dogs, on the overlap. Power to Boyd. Can he use it? He decides to handball to Walsh. It was a poor decision. Archer again. Hacks it off the ground. Almost came off. But just taking the mark in the nick of time was Power.
Just not getting their disposal pinpoint. Now West, few seconds left. Can they squeeze something out of it? Cross has to kick again. Getting awfully close to half-time. Robbins, oh, that was ambitious, but Johnson makes it.
Did it well, Tim, didn't he? He did it well. Robbins has been playing it full forward. A very small Bulldog forward line, as we keep on saying, but that was good play. They moved it quickly onto his left boot. And that is a well-taken mark by Johnson.
So the siren has gone, and the skipper, the acting skipper in Luke Darcy's absence, and that will be for the remainder of this season, has a very important kick to take here. To cut the margin from 17 to 11. And he does it beautifully. Oh, will he get another kick? Can he get another kick for that?
Oh, this is nasty. This is potentially very nasty. It's not off the ball too. This is potentially very nasty as players from all parts of the ground swarm.
And unfortunately, the umpires can't bounce the ball or play it on because the quarter's over.
They can, though, play a free kick, I think, Rob, in those circumstances.
Well, there's officials everywhere, there's coaches everywhere, Laidley's there. He's walking away, and this is still potentially pretty nasty.
What happened to Brad Johnson? Because I was marking the goal.
I wasn't looking either.
Did you see it, Tim?
Well, as he veered inboard, I think, just to go and greet his teammates, or be greeted by them, and he was collected by an opponent.
Well, you have to say, here we go, here's a replay. And no free kick in that, so good umpiring.
Good umpiring, and Rowan Smith and Brad Johnson, Academy Award jobs in the first half.
We're going to take a break from the dome, and it's the Dogs going to the break with the momentum. 57 plays 46, it's the Roos leading by 11 points.
Monday on the couch, 2 of the brightest young coaches in the AFL, Geelong's Mark Thompson and outspoken Fremantle boss Chris Connolly, sit down with Jared, Mike and Robert. After a stellar 2004, Thompson's Cats are primed for bigger things, while Connolly's Dockers are the sleeping giants. Find out their blueprint to success on the couch, live and exclusive, Monday, 8:30 Eastern.
Smart money buys when the big fleet buyers buy. Smarter money buys Toyota. And right now, you can update your work vehicle to the biggest and best event of them all. Toyota means business. Huge range, huge offers. Whether you're buying one Toyota or a whole fleet of them, Toyota means business right now. What are you waiting for?
He's coming back. Not too many men could go 57 rounds with the catalogue man. He's a match. Sure tests a man's ability to stay true. Dougie McKenna could end this right now. All he has to do is take a sip of that average bourbon. You've ever seen anything quite like this?
Go Harvey Norman for massive cashbacks on reverse cycle split system air conditioners. Receive up to $300 cashback for a limited time. This Mitsubishi 8 kilowatt split system is yours for a low $14.99 after cashback. We have a huge range of famous brands, so hurry in and find the model you need at a price you can afford. Reverse cycle air conditioning is efficient and economical for winter warmth. Up to $300 cashback on reverse cycle split system air conditioning now at Harvey Norman.
To notch up 500 goals. In he comes, the captain of Melbourne. Goal number 500 to David Neitz.
You get more for your dollar at Bunnings Warehouse every day. 4-pack energy-saving globes, only $9.98. Assorted Azingo tools, a low $29.95 each. Aluminium work platform, just $59. British 4-litre in-colour interior acrylic, great value at $49.80. 2-kilo lawn repair kit, only $9.98. HPN powerboard, pack of 2, just $7.50. Combination spanners, $1 each.
Bunnings Warehouse.
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
I love a laugh. The Simpsons, Seinfeld, Will and Grace. I can't get enough of them. But it doesn't mean I rule my life by them. If I have some pressing engagements or I just want to drop in on a friend, I know my shows will be repeated 2 hours later on a second channel.
With a variety of extra time shift channels, ensuring you have twice as much chance of seeing your favourite shows, it's the choice you've come to enjoy, plus greater convenience. That's what makes digital simply better. Call today to upgrade.
Every Wednesday, the Fox Footy Feature brings you exclusive stories from the heart of the AFL.
Got to live with it for the rest of your life.
Wayne Schwass brings us a powerful insight to the 2004 AFLPA Indigenous Players Camp.
We all go in the same direction. There is no barriers.
The game's greatest leaders reveal all in the Coach's Box.
18 months later, I got sacked.
Find out what it takes to survive the draft in AFL Apprentice.
This is the chance right now.
3 outstanding features coming soon to Fox Footy Channel, where AFL is exclusive.
Welcome back to the Telstra Dome, where the Kangaroos lead by 11 points. A scoreline that Rodney wouldn't be too unhappy with. You're well and truly still in it. What was your message to the team?
Oh yeah, they got a bit of a burst to start with because really we've played very poorly. We've played extremely poorly. We've been outplayed in most areas, especially at stoppages. But after we got that off the liver, we spoke about that. No, we're only a goal down or 10 points down, whatever it is, and the fact we know that we're right in it. So we start to play. We have a lift of intensity. Hopefully, we're 10 or 15%. We can pinch us going. Who do you see as your biggest worry from the Roos in the second half? I think they've rotated pretty well in the middle. Obviously, Grant and Harvey are probably the ones that are carrying the footy at this stage, so they're the ones we're looking at.
Thanks for joining us. Good luck for the second half. And just confirming that Ryan Hargrave has been reported for a first quarter incident with Shannon Grant. Quarters.
Thanks, Christy. So it's been a big night for Ryan Hargrave. That's the incident that we'll see him in the books, and not sure whether he'll cop a plea on that one or go to the tribunal.
Yes, I don't think it was a great
consequence.
No. And that is one of the criteria that has to be dealt with.
Matthew Boyd starting on the wing on Daniel Wells. Wells just the 4 disposals in the first half.
Who can make the early running? Take away for the Bulldogs. Cooney to cross to West. And now the spillage. And Big Hale has got himself into those contests frequently. This is Boyd. High tackle, so it's a Bulldog free kick.
Tackle slipped up.
How did you assess Rodney Eads' comments, Rod, who would have been reasonably happy with this 11-point margin?
Well, he obviously believes they haven't played well and is concerned about winning the clearances. The Kangaroos have dominated the stoppages, but Bulldogs got this first one.
And a good lead from Murphy, despite the efforts of the Kangaroo defence to close in on him. He was able to mark it, but he's going to be kicking from outside 50.
And the Rodney Eaters persisted with Tim Walsh, the young fella on debut at centre half forward. Now he's struggling to get into the game. He's been on and off the ground. There's the tall fella there. But good to see that the coach has given him another chance to have a crack at it to start this third quarter.
So to string two together, but he won't with that. It's well wide. And Glenn Archer has been the dominant player on the ground. He's been magnificent back there. And he has just covered the back half of the ground with all the menace of a cruising battleship.
And his kick falls slightly short. No mark. Almost grabbed by Boyd. Cooney, good handball. Back to Boyd. Here's a chance for GM Syracuse. And he kicks the goal. First one to the Dogs. Points the difference.
Cooney at ground level gets it and quickly spears that handball forward to Boyd, in turn to Gian Syracuse. And they've been very sharp with their hands to set up a player in space.
Team's in front, but he'd be worried, Dean Laidley. Bulldogs within 5 points. Don't necessarily deserve to be there, but they're there. It's wide open. Cooney's looking dangerous. Skipper just working it on. Murphy, Gian Syracuse. Boyd there with him as well. Wasn't expecting that, but was held when he didn't have it. And he has the chance to put the Dogs in front.
Well, he's been in the thick of the action, has Boyd, in this third quarter. We're only 3 minutes into it, but he's been on the wing on Daniel Wells.
Dirty night for Wells so far.
It is, and you'd expect him to pick it up, Tim, but the handball of the Bulldogs, 86-62, starting to take effect.
Fading. For a behind, they trail by 4 points. The best part of 3 goals down, seconds before half-time, and they had the chance to be in front a minute 20 into the third quarter.
And Kangaroos going with a huddle, and again the break out into space, and Daniel Wells the target again.
And he gets it.
Let him up, thanks.
Well, I guess if they create space quarters, the man who can get into it quicker than anyone else is Daniel Wells.
That's his 5th disposal for the night, and he finds Thompson. He's off. Pumps it long. Rocker from a long way back attacks the ball. And he is in pretty good nick tonight, is Big Sav. Just attacked the ball from deep in the pocket. Never looked like missing it.
Rodney Eade would be disappointed. He'd be disappointed that after the Wells mark, he'd probably be even thinking, well, Wells shouldn't have marked it. Boyd should have been onto him to get a spoil. But the Wells kick was marked on the wing by Thompson. Chris Grant couldn't get there to get the spoil on. And then the Thompson kick into the forward 50, and Brian Harris, the defender, couldn't get there to get a spoil on. It wasn't as if they were bullet-like passes.
Rocker's kick 3 from about 52 out. So his haul tonight, Sav Rocker, is 3 goals, 3.
And the Kangaroos are setting up a zone defence. They're not going man on man, so there should be a bit of space there for Gilby. But usually when a zone defence is set up, you can get the short kick away like that.
Well, and Smith's shaped to go other than over the mark, which is normally called his play on, but he was given leeway there. Cross to McMahon. And the Bulldogs work it out nicely. Skipper, West. Quiet first half has Murphy loose. And within range.
Well, Robert Murphy just has to kick this goal, because the shot he had earlier in this quarter was a pretty ordinary one for a very skillful player. Started his career on the wing and then spent the next few years playing half-back flank. It's time he came of age as a quality finishing forward.
both ends of the ground. And the Bulldogs continue to trail by a handful of points.
And again, you can see the huddle, the early break.
Wells is the kicker. Gives it a bit of air. And not a good result for the Roos.
Stevens in picture is playing on Robert Murphy at the moment.
It's Hale on the phone, or the headphones at least. 50 out. A goal here would put the Dogs in front. Skipper the tap to Murphy, and he can do just that.
Maybe he likes them on the run.
Clear hold in there, not spotted by the umpire. Big hold, the jumper well away from Drew Petrie's body.
Well, just dominated play in this third quarter. And Bulldogs have had 11 handballs in this third term. The Kangaroos haven't had any. In fact, the Kangaroos have just had the 4 disposals, and we are 8 minutes in.
Important for the Kangaroos to win the centre break here and to just end the flow. Wells placing that and placing it well for Harding. This is Smith, the first game up, well tackled and turning it over. McMahon, Power, Gilby, Bulldogs starting to play with some confidence. Gian Siracusa has Boyd lurking down the dockside wing. Cooney inside, but he goes straight forward. And he delivers for the other first gamer in Cameron White. Walsh, rather.
Well, I think, Tim, this will be his first kick in league football. And his father, of course, is CEO for the Kangaroos. So how would he be feeling at this stage?
What would he be wanting, I wonder?
Oh, you'd have to want your son to kick a goal with his first kick in league football.
Mixed emotions. And he hasn't. Was a touch. It might have carried home. It has. The Dogs lead by 8. And he joins the select, not so few, who will kick the goal with their first kick in the big time.
Including R. Walls, Carlton.
1967. A long time ago. That is something he will never forget. A little bit of luck on his side.
A lot of luck.
That doesn't matter. It'll go in the scorebook as a goal, and what a great reaction from his teammates.
Well, the man they've nicknamed Woosha has kicked the goal, and boy oh boy, it's 8 points now in favour of the Dogs, and you sense some real trouble for the Roos as they force it forward again. Harris dispossessed, no, holding the man, says the umpire. So Harris has got the free for the Kangas. To Harvey, out wide to Sinclair, to Archer, who's had a wonderful night, bangs it long and high, Grant's underneath it. Strong.
Goes to McMahon, who's given us some pretty good run off half-back. And he's burning the grass right now. It's all come together for the Dogs. Murphy now. The 50's open, and Johnson with strong hands in front of Sinclair.
And that is the great strength of Brad Johnson. That is a really strong overhead mark, attacking the football from a medium-sized player, and he's on a medium-sized opponent, and that's where he's got the great advantage. Johnson needs a taller opponent when he plays deep in the forward line for the Bulldogs, because he's so good overhead, and Jess Sinclair really can't go with him.
Very similar shot to the one he nailed right on half-time, and he's done it again. The Dogs lead by 14. He's their leading goal kicker for the season, Brad Johnson.
Murphy's certainly come into it in this quarter, Tim. Kicked the goal, a couple of behinds, and set Brad Johnson up there.
Well, the Acids really on the ruse now. Worries for Dean Laidley. They're being opened up the ruse in this third term.
You can see Archer has been moved on to Murphy, and Glenn Archer's got to be thinking, what more do I have to do? Like, he's their leading possession getter, their inspiration. Some of these younger Kangaroos have to lift.
Dogs have kicked the last 5. Here's a chance for the Kangas. Good pass by Harvey to Grant, and this is a must-kick goal.
And the old school, Harvey to Shannon Grant.
Grant's kicked 2 tonight. 15 for the year. 15 goals, 8 to be precise. Now he's on a very slight angle, kicking from 45. As I said, a must-kick goal just to stem the flow here. And he makes no mistake. Roos get one back. One in each quarter to Shannon Grant. And the margin is back to 8 points in favour of the Dogs.
Good kick to the advantage side. Made it very hard for Daniel Cross to be able to get there to get a fist on it. Daniel Wells has been moved out of the midfield. He has really struggled tonight, and Rowan Smith has been moved onto him. Smith played most of the first half as a forward, but we know, of course, he can play in the back line.
Clear win to Skipper. Covered by Harris. Stevens overrunning it. Harris back for a second go. There's a free kick to Eagleton. Johnson circling. Murphy going wide. There here's Walsh again. Oh, he dropped it. A nervous miss. He's been paid.
He's having a bit of luck, isn't he?
He is having a bit of luck. I don't think he'll kick a goal from there. Man on the mark at 50. He kicks ambitiously. No piece in the way. He's obviously very nervous. He didn't centre the kick that produced the goal, and he dropped that mark, and then that kick wasn't the greatest placement. Makepeace, good ball. Dogs overthrown us. Corey Jones gets into it. Sinclair. That one hung, and gave Gilby a crack at it. And he whisks it away and delivers well to Boyd.
Boyd chips over the top to Cooney. Good mark. Stood his ground against Makepeace.
That's it.
Now, where are the leads going to come from? Told to play on. He goes looking for Johnson. He's going to outmark 2 of them and can't do so. Rawlings. Petrie. And he finds Thompson at half-back.
Got away from Chris Grant again. Chris Grant, when they go on the long leads, Chris Grant really struggles to keep up. So he's zoned back.
Nathan Thompson. And he's kicked it to his direct opponent, Grant. Couldn't take the mark. Tian Siracusa quickly to Harris. Now Hargrave. Disposal number 17. And the mark has been paid to Hale.
Just had enough of it. Stevens, boy, they've gone from the wing to full back. Rawlings. There's not much standing in his way. He draws the one tackler and gives to Brown. That's not great. So the Bulldogs have reversed their fortunes in the first half of this third term. coming from 11 points down to lead by 8. And Dean Laidley has some thinking to do. Ferrito, third man in line there. Cross. Little hand pass. Harris in the midst of it. And there'll be a ball up.
Little game of cat and mouse here. Chris Grant on Nathan Thompson. You can see Nathan Thompson. Chris Grant has decided, well, I'll go up to full forward for the Bulldogs, and you better come and chase me. And that's a little win for the Bulldogs.
Eagleton. Clever kick to Power, who knocks it on further to Murphy. Murphy keeps the ball alive. Running onto it is Gian Siracusa. He's over the ball. It's going to be a free kick, surely, to the Roos. Dragged it back in. Very lucky not to be penalised. And another bounce.
And Chris Grant still up there in the goal square for the Bulldogs.
They're 60 out from the Dogs' goal. Ferrito almost a throw. McMahon, good handball to Murphy. Now chance, and he weighs up his options. Decides to go long. Grant wrestles with Thompson. Grant wins the battle and kicks the goal. What a win for the Dogs. You'll be very happy with that, Robert Walls.
Well, he just decided about 90 seconds ago. Thompson's taken a couple of marks on him by leading out to the wings, and when the ball was on the opposite side of the ground, Chris Grant said, well, I'm going to go down to the forward line and see if Thompson will follow me. Now, Thompson followed him. Had Thompson stayed back and even run to the other end, I reckon Chris Grant, who's playing as a defender, would have said, well, I better get back on him. So he won the war of wills and rubbed salt into the wounds by kicking the goal. And of course, Chris Grant now is back at centre half back on Nathan Thompson.
His 501st career goal. Dean Laidley watching his team outscored 5 goals to 1 in this quarter. Ferrito bangs them forward. Long kick to Wells. He can't get into the aerial contest. And Grant Swan was clean enough to take it to the line.
This is such an important game for the Kangaroos. They started in a blaze of glory this season. They won their first 5 games. They lost the 2 that they played in Adelaide against the Crows and Port Power. They can't afford to drop 3 in a row because, as we said pre-game, they go down to Geelong next week. That'll be tough at Skilled Stadium, and then after that they're up at the Gabba. Now, last year they started their season particularly well, and then they fell in a big hole. They won their first 3 games last year, and then they lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the next 7.
McMahon, clearing kick back into the middle. The race is on. Jones will get there first. Over to Ferrito.
That was good defensive work. Double-handed fist. Good as a kick. And not to be penalised by doing that either. Very well done.
Western Bulldogs have not won 2 in a row since 2002.
When Terry Wallace was coach.
Round 17-18. That's a free kick to Simpson, is it? No, umpire let it go.
Should have been.
Is that a free kick? It is for Ferrito. Dogs by 14 points. Kangaroos have led 55 minutes of this game. It's Ferrito. Kicks it long. Hales there. So is Thompson. Front and centre is McMahon. Little give to Johnson. Back into the middle. And it's marked by Walsh.
Well, he's getting a bit of it. Gives it back to Johnson. Having a run now Eagleton. Archer holds him up. Cagily played by Archer. Now Power. just beyond range. And with 2 men on the lead.
Set it up well, didn't they? They set it up well. Little chip passes, short kicks to teammates. And they are just dominating the marks in this game. Close to 100, the Western Bulldogs, with their little chip passes. 73 to the Kangaroos.
This will be Murphy's 9th disposal of the quarter.
It's been wonderful for them, Tim. Last week against Brisbane at half forward, and again tonight. Just needs to kick accurately from the set shots.
And he does, and he puts them 20 points in front. 6 goals to 1 in this third quarter, the Bulldogs' way. Two of them to Robert Murphy. Two to Murphy. 20-point buffer to the Western Bulldogs. 22 and a half have ticked over in this third term. Eagleton, Simpson.
Thanks, guys.
In this game for the Roos, 17 disposals to Archer, 17 to Harvey, 15 to Simpson. For the Bulldogs, 17 to Hargrave, 16 each to McMahon and Power.
Daniel Harris and Daniel Wells really have to lift, because they are struggling. They have to get plenty of the ball for the Roos to have an impact, and at the moment they're just accepting their lot.
Clever inside out kick by Hale, finds Harvey, 60 from goal, into the pocket, Thompson. That was really clever from Hale. So Nathan Thompson.
Ryan Harris has moved on to Thompson, and Chris Grant is back with Severio.
1-1 to Thompson tonight. 10 goals, 3 for the season. Twice a leading goal scorer for the Hawks. Now a Roo. And that's the point. So the margin 19 in the last 5 minutes of the term. Hargrave, big possession earlier, he just dallied, and that was a great effort by Harvey. Harris helping him, getting it back to him, and Petrie now can line them up.
Brilliant effort by Brent Harvey, and I'm sure we'll have a look at it, but he's put the smother on, and then he took have a look at the smother. And he just wound up. He can make mistakes, young Hargrave. He's got to learn to lift the kick there, and then the reflex take there. And then to set it up. Wonderful play by the little fella.
Big kick this. Kangaroos 19 points down, and Petrie doesn't score. Didn't even make the distance. And White gives it to Gilby. The Bulldogs are playing confident footy. Not a bad positioning of the ball, but Sinclair committing himself to it ahead of Boyd. Rocker gives it back to him. Not much option there, but just to tunnel it. Good tackle on White. Sinclair, a third play, gives them a real chance. Brown, great tackle, Gilby, and well done by the Dogs. Harris taking it through. That was good footy, wasn't it?
Pressure footy, wasn't it? They just kept charging the Kangaroos.
Great tackle.
Good tackle by the much smaller Lindsay Gilby on Leroy Brown. And Brian Harris said, I've had enough of this, I'll swat it through from behind.
Short kick finds Harris.
Rodney Eade would be really disappointed if his Bulldogs gave up a goal in the last 3 minutes of this quarter.
The halfback Roos have the numbers, and that's Makepeace in front. No, not paid. Then here come the Dogs on the break. Handball over to Power.
Draws the play, gives it to Grant. Blind turns out of trouble. And the old Colwyn goes for vintage Chris Grant. What a ripper. The blind turn to boot. But there's life in the old legs yet.
And that's the second goal for the quarter to the centre half back.
And I reckon his instincts as a forward of days of yore served him pretty well there.
Oh, he did that well, didn't he, to spin out of trouble, accelerate as quick as he possibly could.
And that's the Kangaroos supporters' reaction.
Oh, devastation. And there's Chris Grant right back at fullback on Lee Brown. So he's kicked one goal on Brown and one on Nathan Thompson.
Dogs by 24. Should be a Kangaroos takeaway. Harris took a long time, but delivered well to Wells. They need something from him. They need some spark.
Move it on!
They have target forwards, but they also have a flooded 50 to deal with. Sinclair to Stevens, a long kick of the ball, and he probes here. Oh, beautifully done, Shannon Grant.
That is a 60-metre pass. He meant that. Michael Stevens, he is a wonderful kick, and he put that out to the advantage side of Shannon Grant. A little bit of a nudge on his opponent. And that is a half-forward opportunist at his best.
You can see why Anthony Stevens played the way he did. He had to make sure his little brother never got the ball in the backyard.
Well, this is a huge kick. Just have to put this one through. It has been a 7-goal quarter to the Bulldogs, and just the one to the Kangaroos.
He's a true boot, Shannon Grant. He kicks his fourth, and he keeps the Roos afloat. One to Grant.
Back-to-back goals for Grant.
Yes.
At either end of the ground. More Grants than in Peter Costello's budget.
That's the goal the Roos so desperately needed.
They've got an extra man in defence, the Bulldogs. Rodney Eade wanting to maintain this lead.
And here they come again. Farito pucks it long, deep into attack. Big pack fly. Lurking down is McMahon. Oh, it's a dodgy handball. Attacking it is Petrie. Keeps it alive. There's Brown. Harvey misses. It's on the full, gee.
That was a behind.
That was like a behind.
Certainly looked like it on that camera shot.
Yeah, look, we had a great angle from here.
Rowan Smith. Now Hahn. I hope it's not a one-kick game at the end of the night. Gian Syracuse. Not long left. We're in the last minute. Big play here either way. And it's going to restart on the Bulldogs side of the wing. Now let's get a look at it. That's inconclusive. That indicates the call might have been right. From where we were right behind the kick, and it looked to be a behind.
Daniel Pratt's been moved on to Robert Murphy. Murphy having 9 disposals and 4 marks in this third quarter. Just a bit too quick for Glenn Archer.
Michael Stevens makes the takeaway, but the Bulldogs are still a chance here. And that was pretty well done by Gilby. 2 goes at it. Archer needed to make the spoil. Sinclair. Time for the Rouge yet off halfback. Harvey and Wells. They've got 20 seconds to make something of it. That's a pretty good ball from Wells for Grant. Couple against him. Hale been very good. Releases Grant now. But Brad Johnson at the other end of the ground from which he's exerted most influence does well and makes the final play of the third quarter as he did in the second. And the Bulldogs have had a great turn. They kicked 7 goals to 2. And at the last change, they lead by 18 points.
Just moved the ball so quickly, didn't they? They had Robert Murphy alive and dangerous up on that half-forward line, and Chris Grant, the man in picture, who was able to kick 2 goals from centre-half back with some adventurous play.
Monday on the count, 2 of the brightest young coaches in the AFL, Geelong's Mark Thompson and outspoken Fremantle boss Chris Connolly, sit down with Jared, Mike and Robert. After a stellar 2004, Thompson's Cats are primed for bigger things, while Connolly's Dockers are the sleeping giants. Find out their blueprint to success on the couch, live and exclusive, Monday, 8:30 Eastern.
Ever notice how something always interrupts you right at the most exciting part of the action? Now you can rewind live TV and see what you missed using Foxtel IQ. Pause and rewind live TV. Record 2 programs at the same time. Can your TV do that? You bet. It's Foxtel IQ, the smartest thing to ever happen to your TV. Did I miss anything? Call 131 999 now or visit selected Myer stores.
Wednesday, in another exclusive Fox Footy feature, Wayne Schross discovers that the 2004 AFLPA Indigenous Camp encompassed much more than football. 40 of the AFL's Indigenous stars embark on a journey of discovery where they're exposed to the rich culture of local communities and made aware of social responsibilities.
On some communities, it's a matter of life and death.
A special community round Fox Footy feature, the 2004 Indigenous Players Camp, Wednesday on Fox Footy Channel.
What can they do? What changes do they need to ring?
Well, you might even look at Archer and just say, well, let's put him across the half-forward line. Now, Archer's been wonderful for them, but Robert Murphy's just had too much acceleration for him. So maybe you put Archer towards centre-half forward and he just knocks a few blokes over. You know he'll go for his marks. If he can get a couple of goals, he might just inspire the others. But again, it's a bit of a shame that you've got to rely on the old stalwarts to do it.
There's Rodney. Let's have a look at that Brett Harvey kick that was ruled out on the full. We had a great shot angle of it up here. It looked like a point to us. Here's the kick.
Gee, looks dead set from there. Was never outside the behind post on that angle.
Well, let's hope it's not a one-point ball game. Let's go to Christy Mulhouse.
Thanks, Stephen. Well, Rodney Eade told his team last week to run Brisbane ragged, and they did just that. You'd think that he would have said the same thing for this last quarter against the Kangaroos, who have just been interstate 2 weeks in a row, and the Bulldogs certainly do look the fresher team. A few of the Kangaroos players getting their legs worked on in that huddle, but we do know that the Kangaroos like to work. They work best under pressure, their backs to the wall. So will it be the heart or the legs that win out in the last term?
That's a very interesting stat there, that the leading Bulldog disposals, Hargrave, McMahon, Power and Gilby, the top 4 are all playing in the back line for the Bulldogs, and all have been encouraged by their coach to run, carry and share, and this is a change from the Bulldogs of old. The younger fellas given every opportunity to make the play.
We start the final term, and it is the Bulldogs leading by 3 goals. Skipper stripped of the ball. Kangaroos on the attack. Can they get it out? Eventually, a little kick by Simpson back into the middle. Hale over the ball. Tapped it forward to Rawlings. Now Ferrito. Kicks loose off the side of the boot. Colbert's there. He got a bad bounce. Hargrave. Little give to McMahon. Over to Morris. He's tackled well by Ferrito. Umpire lets it go. Wells, good hard ball get by West, but he gave the handball straight to Harvey. Harvey to Colbert, inside 50. Grandstand to mop up.
Well, they've got Colbert at half forward and big scenario on the bench.
Cooney still with plenty of run in those young legs. Keeps it wide for Rowan Smith. With Jess Smith losing his footing, and he's drilled it to Murphy. Now the range will test him here, so he doesn't go for it. He goes for Johnson. He's perpetual motion up there, but he's on the impossible angle.
Jess Sinclair's playing on Brad Johnson, and that is a real worry. As we saw in the third quarter, he will struggle to go with Johnson in the air.
Now he's a long way out to be trying to bend it back. So he's toyed with the idea of the drop punt. Looked for the inward pass. He's having a shot. Almost impossible, you would think, from there. And it's a behind. What a chance this is for the Bulldogs. Win tonight, they are 4-4. They're level with St Kilda. They're on the edge of the 8, approaching the middle stages of the season.
Makepeace finds Jones. Don't ride off the ruse just yet. They've got great ticker. Hargrave fed it out to Boyd. Inside 50 they go again.
Another brilliant pass by Lindsay Gilbey. And Gene Siracusa, well, he didn't have to work too hard to get it, did he? But Boyd setting up the handball that eventually sets Gilbey up, who is one of the best kicks in the competition. And if this one goes through, very hard to see the Kangas coming back.
Gian Siracusa's kick 2. He's at 7 goals, 7 for the year. This should be a 6-pointer. Well, the all-important first goal of the final term goes the Bulldogs' way, and the margin blows out to 25. Now it's going to be tough for the Roos.
Shapes as a disheartening night for Dean Laidley.
It does, and Severio Rocker started this final quarter on the interchange bench. He's kicked 3 goals of their 10. Shannon Grant's kicked 4. Not only is Sav there, so too is Petrie.
Big takeaway to Cross. Stevens just getting a hand in there, otherwise Gian Siracusa could have been lining them up again. And it's going to come back because Power's got it.
Best game I've seen Sam Power play.
Cross starting to win some footy. McMahon, Bulldogs with confidence and authority.
Glenn Archer can't go with Murphy.
And on the lead and getting it between the eyes, Gian Siracusa will line them up now.
And Glenn Archer cannot go with Robert Murphy because Murphy's just got too much leg speed, and Dean Laidley's got to make a move because his champion Warrior doesn't deserve to be playing on a bloke who's just got that much speed.
A goal here, and they might just about have iced the Kangaroos. But it's a long shot. He'll be kicking from 50. Right on the 50. And right on the money. The Dogs by 31.
And the last 2 goals have been set up from running half-backs with brilliant foot passing in Gilbey and McMahon.
It's been 9 goals to 2 since half-time. And the margin has blown out to 31 points in favour of the Bulldogs. Cooney, here's Archer. Harris, Simpson to Rawlings. And his kick finds Harris on centre wing. In the middle is a box on in the middle. There's 2 Kangaroos and a Bulldog involved. Keep an eye on that as Power takes another mark inside 50.
It was Lee Brown putting a slammer under Wade Skipper.
West. Smith. Good effort by Stevens to spoil at the last second. And we'll have a throw in.
After the last goal, here's Rodney Eade in the Bulldogs coaching box. That's an unusual sight with 15 minutes left on the clock. He's feeling pretty good. In fact, there were about 16 minutes plus at that stage. Bit of footy left yet, but the Bulldogs are going well. Cross was kick well smothered by Makepeace.
And Severio Rocket coming on now. Corey Jones going off.
With Rocket looking that confident, I've been pretty humble thus far, quarters, but I might come out and just remind you that 5 minutes or so into the opening quarter, I tipped this.
Chris Grant's done his trick that he did in the third quarter. He's now run to full forward, and Colbert's followed him.
Great mark by Simpson. Harris. Good result. Makepeace. Nothing working. Thompson. Archer has to fight here. Well tied up by Harris. A ball up is the correct decision. The Bulldogs want a ball. Bulldog fans at least.
Basically.
Well, perhaps strictly under the modern interpretation, given that he dived, he did leave himself open. The fans might be right that time. Here's Harris. Colbert. And that's a good kick for Grant.
Shannon Grant's kick 4. That's a beautiful pass. And Harvey just can't hang on to it. Oh, lucky let off for the Dogs, and they're away. West. Cooney. Good looking kick towards Murphy. Archer just got there in the nick of time.
Did you detect the Cooney roar when he got that ball? We've got a new cult figure.
This crowd tonight, 32,901, is the biggest crowd for these two teams since back in 1999 at the MCG. So the fans at both sides have responded.
Bulldogs have made plenty of space between where this ball will be thrown in and the goal square, and they'll be hoping they might be able to get a knock towards that area for a forward to run onto it.
The jumper! And hold the jumper. No, you had hold of his jumper.
It's against Skipper. It's going to Hale. And Hale's kick finds Rawlings. He hasn't had a lot of it tonight. This is disposal number 10.
Started on Brad Johnson, virtually playing at full back.
Yep. Kick to half forward, drops short. Finds Harding. Harding wastes no time. Looks for Rocker. But Harris is up to the task.
Harris is confident to back himself in marking contests on that last line of defence. Not many fullbacks are like that.
Good kick too, as he finds Boyd.
Skipper, not sure whether to come or go. That's a dangerous thing to do when you've got Daniel Wells against you. He will cut you to pieces, and he has done here. If only it'll sit, Harvey will kick a goal, and he does. And the Kangaroos are barely alive.
And Skipper's off.
He hit his knee, I think, Rob, when he lost his footing.
He did. He did, and this surface is slippery. As one AFL player said through the week, it is slimy.
He's not smiling now.
Couple of quick clearances, Kangaroos. Looks like they've got Thompson in the ruck and put Hale to centre half forward.
And to add insult to injury for Skipper, hurt his knee, lost the goal and got the spray from the coach. He got the triple whammy.
He got the trifecta.
They're not out of it yet, the Kangas.
They're going to get the next one, don't they? And quick.
Still lots of time left. It's a 25-point margin. Gian Siracusa kicked a couple of goals in the final term. Inside 50 go the Dogs. Robbins. Good looking down. free kick go to Jess Smith. It was an important tackle. He finds Rawlings. Pops it over the top to Sinclair. Into the middle, Brown. Now the Kangaroos build. Wells is on the lead. It's an ordinary kick though by Brown. Grant. Simpson. Into the pocket. Rocker from the side. Big Sam just couldn't hang on to it. And Grant concedes the point. Well, it was all set up for the big fella.
The big fella set himself. He left. I don't know how high he got off the ground. We'll have a look at it here. Oh, yes, he's got the knee on the shoulder and just couldn't hang that half second that he needed.
I think Harris buckled underneath the weight.
He has taken one big one earlier in the year, hasn't he, McMahon? Perfect delivery to Gian Syracusa. Right there! And Boyd, as the Dogs still look pretty confident. Gilby running into space, can afford the little fumble, and he has a man loose in Murphy. He can trot in and nail it from the angle, but he doesn't. Margin 25. But more than half the quarter is left.
Michael Stevens. The kick's got to be good. He's looking for Harris. Throw in on centre wing.
And young White, Cameron White, to do the ruck work.
Minson still sitting on the bench, not in shot there, Rob, but hasn't been used since early in the match.
That's it. It is interesting, Tim, that we haven't seen more of Minson. I wonder if he's carrying an injury. We've seen plenty of Skipper and Cameron White, who is a tall, skinny fella. You can see that up against Nathan Thompson.
Push out. There's got to be a free kick to the Roos, no doubt about that. It was against the first game that Cameron White. Thompson's got the kick and he goes short to Rawlings. No one on the mark, so he's off. Oh! Lost it. Got it again. Pratt. Long kick. Rocker gets jostled out of the contest. Did well to keep his feet. And we'll have a bounce. 45 out from the Roos goal.
And Minson has been brought on. There's Big Will. Have a look at the shoulders, as wide as an axe handle.
But he's not all brawn. He's got a bit of brain, and I think speaks languages, doesn't he? And plays music or something. He's a bit of a multi-talent.
Plays the flute.
Oh, Hardy. Boy. That missed by a lot. He was trying to hook that, perhaps for the hot spot, or maybe even score. And it's gone out 30 metres around from the behind post. Gilby has linked things up pretty well back there tonight. Cross. Smith, Gian Syracusa. Half the quarter gone now. He's played on. Dangerous. They're making the odd mistake. They've got to be careful here, the Dogs. Ferrito gives the Kangaroos a chance. And Harvey, although on the big angle,
could be the second mistake that cost them a goal. And Gian Syracusa holding his head. Realises he absolutely blew that one.
Just careless. Well, there's our Kangaroo supporter. She is our barometer. Harvey, tough shot, big kick, good kick, just fading. And it's still the Bulldogs by 24.
Once again, it's Lindsay Gilby to do the kicking in. And that's a superb pass.
Back around. Thanks.
As he finds Morris.
Mate.
Short to Johnson. Past the halfway mark now, the final term, as Johnson's kick finds West.
Thank you.
Scott West, 17 touches tonight, averaging 28 this season. He's leading disposal getter in the comp, so he's been kept reasonably quiet by his standards. You won't mind if they win. Smith to Johnson. To Boyd. Long kick. It's home, I think. It is. Great running play by the Bulldogs. And Matthew Boyd has kicked a long goal from right on the paint on 50. To the left to right. That was good enough.
And it's typical of so many of the Bulldog goals, particularly in the second half, running in numbers, drawing an opponent, sharing the ball with a sideways handball, and then the accurate finish off. 17 goals, 8 is something that the Bulldogs rarely kick. They've been plagued with inaccuracy over the years, but they're getting it right, and certainly with their set shots tonight, they've kicked 9 goals, 3 from set shots.
They have been scoring high, though, and for a team that doesn't have target forwards in the traditional sense, it's quite an achievement. Here's Cooney, Archer. Harris says, catch me if you can. Thompson should nail this, and he does. The Kangaroos give a yelp.
Just watch Cooney. And he just needed to keep the eyes on the football, head over the football, and bash and crash it forward. He just couldn't let it free up, as it did.
They're just hanging in there, the Kangaroos. Still time. But it's a 4-goal buffer in favour of the Dogs. Minson over the top. Taken away, though, by Harris. Here come the Kangaroos again. Long kick. Grant. Will he concede the point? No, he won't.
Been terrific, Chris Grant.
To Boyd, to Cross. Well, he's kicked 502 goals in his career, Chris Grant. The last one wouldn't have got many better than that. As we have a throw in on centre wing.
Well, Daniel Cross is the master of the handball. He's had 6 kicks and 14 handballs this evening.
I can think of one Chris Grant goal at this venue, which might rank a little higher. Match against Essendon back in 2000. Eagleton, defensive side, pressure from Harvey, got him by the arm, so Eagleton just had to work it onto the boot. He did it well. Wells, Gilby did well. Holds it up. Kangaroos pressing here. They've raised their intensity. Steal by Jones. He's had a quiet night.
Great work by Scott West to lock that ball in, and you can see his teammates appreciate the effort. He tries to get a kick on this.
And he did, which makes it a legitimate disposal. Good quick thinking. Cooney, great acceleration, but a good tackle by Ferrito. Archer, Jones, Pratt giving it to Harvey. Kangaroos still trying, still coming. Grant, they're getting better as the night wears on.
Again, Chris Grant, rock solid in defence. And there's the new centre-half forward for the Bulldogs. It's Adam Cooney playing on Glenn Archer. Michael Stevens has moved on to Robert Murphy.
West, back of the pack. Fired it out to Gilby. He's away. Not a lot to give to. By hand in the end to Boyd. Out wide to Gian Siracusa, who's kicked 4. Johnson. Across the face and Lito for a point.
David Hale has just taken himself off with cramp in his calf.
Any point? Yep, 25. Puts them 5 shots in front. Hard for the Kangaroos to win from there in 6 1/4 minutes. Robbie's still running. Nathan Thompson kicked their last goal. He has 2 for the night.
Well, they've got to kick 5 goals in 6.5 minutes, and that's why this just little chip and take it along the boundary line doesn't help you that much. Got to throw caution to the wind.
Under 6 minutes now. Petrie, and the clock continues to tick. Here comes Grant again, but Cross takes it. And the Bulldogs holding their composure. Hargrave, big ball winner early. Grant, terrific second half. Here comes Johnson from a long way, 1-on-1. Murphy a chance now. I'm not sure what he was after there, but he's given it to Makepeace.
I think he's gone for a left foot check side.
Yeah. Where's Peter Dacos when you need him? Good effort there to spoil by Robbins. Kangaroos keep it alive. A great second effort by Robbins. Sinclair comes in to lend some support to Jess Smith. Looks for Ferrito. Intercepted by Gian Syracuse. Can he keep it alive? No, he can't.
Great pressure by the Bulldog forwards, and particularly Robbins. And Brett Johnson has run 50 metres. So too Scotty West to Robbins to pat him on the back and say, well done. You've locked it in. You've denied the Kangaroos opportunity to get the ball forward. And an important 20 seconds tick by.
It looks pretty safe. The Dogs by 25. Eagleton trying his hand as a ruckman. Cooney, Johnson. And that has hit the behind post on the floor. I don't think it'll matter. But there was some icing there to be licked off the cut. Kangaroos ball to Corey Jones, who blazes now. They might go for broke now, as Robert Walls urged a couple of minutes earlier. Cross swamped. Sinclair wrapped up, and the ball pinched from him by Hahn. Eagleton can kick a goal on the run. Cooney getting better with every outing. And it's adjudged a ball up, and for the Kangaroos, a night that promised a lot in the first half is now looking pretty gloomy.
So to come for the Dogs, Sydney, Essendon, Hawthorn, Port Adelaide. Blood rule. And it's young Cameron Wrighton's first game as we have a look at the Kangaroos next month. So Cameron Wrighton, his first game of AFL football. Welcome to the big time with the Claret.
Just got a line of players down the middle of the ground, the Kangaroos. They've got a little strategy going here, and you can see the players breaking out into space. So they're still thinking.
They're awake to it, the Dogs, and they've got a 2-on-1 situation. Murphy copped it high, and it'll come back. Advantage paid. West to open space. Smith will get there first. Short into the pocket. Johnson just couldn't quite hang on to it. But the Dogs are home now. For the first time since round 17 and 18, 2002. They've managed to win 2 in a row.
Back-to-back wins, and without Luke Darcy.
Great achievement by Rodney Eade and his boys, and most of them still are. They're growing in confidence. Pratt, a former Lion, working out the hand pass. Simpson. And this is the first game of Jess Smith. Not a bad placement, but the bounce no good for Petrie. Hargrave beats him. Simpson into open space. Grant might beat Wells to the ball. He's beaten by the bounce. And Wells can run just about all the way home here. Took it very easily as he lined them up. And he nailed the shot. positive sign for the Roos.
So the Dogs by 19.
And Lee Brown now in the ruck. This is about the third ruckman they've tried.
27 minutes ticked over this final term. It's a free kick going the Bulldogs' way to Minson.
That's because you've got an inexperienced ruckman in Lee Brown, who's mainly a defender, so he's not quite sure what he's supposed to do there. They give away free kicks.
Minson to Murphy, not quite. Hahn hasn't had a lot of game time tonight. Murphy again, well done. And a good kick too, out wide. To Harris. Could he go all the way? It's not a bad effort. Harris from fullback has kicked the goal. Brian Harris, it is party time.
Well, it'll bring a smile to the face of the fullback.
Well, he's already kicked one this year.
And Chris Grant will be smiling too, because their centre-half back has kicked two, their fullback has kicked one.
It was a great finish, wasn't it?
He's got a future.
It does give you, it's an example of the run. There's Chris Grant down in the goal square while it goes through, but Rodney Eade has encouraged these backline players just to run and take off when they've got the footy. And there you can see Brian Harris playing on Severio.
11 goal kickers to the Kangaroos 6.
Well, that's a very good sign when you get past 10 goal kickers. It means you're really playing well and sharing it.
I think Dean Laidley's enjoying your party quarters. West, Eagleton, as the party goes on. It might well go, and David Smorgon might have to get out the gold card again. Eagleton missed Cooney.
He can afford it.
I think he'd do it happily, but Rocket might think not 2 weeks in a row. Want to keep these blokes on the straight and narrow. Here's Harvey. Hasn't stopped trying. Petrie. Wells. And Grant. Not paid. And Minson just pinches it away like a big giant in a children's book. Says, I'll take that. Came off about 4 people, the umpire says. Pratt, good delivery. Petrie. Did you notice umpire head a little while ago at the centre bounce when he played a free kick to the Bulldogs and he called it Footscray? He's obviously a traditionalist.
Drew Petrie, too far out to score.
Those umpires' microphones pick up things like that. They're quite interesting.
Rocker couldn't hang on to it. And the Dogs are away again. Chris Grant has had some sort of night. That's a beautiful kick too to Murphy. No one inside 50 for the Western Bulldogs.
He's going to have to wait until they run past him down into the forward line. And again, Chris Grant, gee, he could play for another 3 years on tonight's performance.
Murphy's told to play on. They concede some distance, some territory I should say, and finds Harris. To the running Gilby, who goes short to Hahn. 60 from goal. And he goes short to Cooney, and listen to the crowd.
Well, he's joined the likes of Roos and Perovic, the old wolf man, and Adam's age, Christo.
You're on the right line. He's right on the mark.
Adam Cooney's kick two. And now for some icing on the Bulldogs' cake. We finish with a poster.
Hit the stick, corners.
It did. That's distinct from behind the stick, Robert. But that'll do the Bulldogs 118 to 92. They've won by 26.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Everyone else was talking about it. We didn't highlight it at all, but it's good to win 2 games in a row, and hopefully we can continue it on now.
Half-time, your coach said he gave you all a pretty fair spray. It must have been a big one.
Yeah, and it was deserved as well. We played pretty poor footy at the start, and it was good that the boys responded and came home with a pretty good win in the end.
Icing on the cake for you, 23 possessions, the highest possession getter for the team, 4 goals, a great game.
Yeah, I actually kicked them this time. I usually miss them, so it was good to kick a few through the big sticks.
Well done, Scott.
No, thanks.